I'm back. This is Daniel Holleran with Amet Ministries, part 3 of an update on the San Francisco earthquake and tsunami, but also touching upon Israel with Iran and also the New Madrid earthquake. As I said, the Lord gave me a witness about the New Madrid. He used someone else, and that's how the body is. You know, we're woven. He uses all of us as strands of truth, okay? Now, talked about, if you go back in history, well, I'll catch up to this. God used a sister to mention to me. She had lived in the states of Wisconsin and Minnesota. And she mentioned the two rivers up there, the confluence of the Mississippi and the St. Croix River. Well, of course, if you know rudimentary French, Croix is the French word for cross. Okay? And so this judgment is going to come from the cross, from God himself. Okay? Now, before it was the St. Croix River, it was named by the Indians the River of Death, and the French named it, they called it the River of the Grave, okay? Because the natives would throw dead bodies into this river. Okay. Now the French, having learned this, renamed it the Rivière Tombeau, which of course means French for the river of the tomb. Okay. They threw bodies in there after being snake bit by a rattlesnake. Now meditate upon that. There is an eastern rattlesnake. Okay. And I wasn't aware that rattlesnakes were that far north. But the rattlesnakes are now in North America. Okay? Just think about it and figure it out. Okay? Now the Lord right after this gave me this verse in Job 12:32. Yet shall he be brought to the grave and shall remain in the tomb. Okay? And the whole purpose of this is we're talking about life or death, death and or destruction, or death and destruction. Now the word tomb in Hebrew is Gaudish, which means to stack up, and it means the dead and the debris. And these judgments that are coming, the San Francisco earthquake and tsunami, the New Madrid earthquake, this is what's going to happen to America. The dead are going to be piled high. Okay? God had mercy upon America in 9/11. Both of those buildings could have been filled, but they were not. And God's judgments are always redemptive in nature. In other words, even when God and nations are judged, it's towards the purpose of bringing others into life. Okay? Now, what I found interesting was during the New Madrid earthquake, the Indian leader Tecumseh, his name actually means star walker, shooting star, and his brother was called the Prophet. And he died 200 years ago in the year 1813. And I believe we have a comet coming through. It's on the far side of the sun now, Ison. Okay? There have been notable events that have always happened during great comets. Okay? Now God showed me this number, he showed me this, I believe, on November 22nd. And of course, 22 is the number for division, 11 times 2. Okay? He showed me the number 365 within my account. I had more money than that, but he showed me exactly 365.25. Now, of course, that accounts for a leap year. Okay? This comet Ison comes across every 3,065 years. Okay? Now, during the New Madrid earthquake, there was a riverboat named the New Orleans, captained by a man named Roosevelt. Okay? The river, of course, ran backwards. The banks of the river failed. And the banks in the natural in America are going to fail. And as I say, the riverboat was named the New Orleans, which harkens back to Katrina. I have a friend of mine, he says eventually New Orleans will be wiped out totally. Okay? And back in that time, they spoke of fissures in the earth which swallowed people whole, which speaks to Korah's rebellion, okay? During the New Madrid earthquake, tar balls came up as the tar in the earth congealed. And that speaks to judgment upon sodomy, San Francisco, among other things, idolatry, so on and so forth. Now, I'd like to touch upon the earthquake itself. God had me go to a Chinese restaurant. And San Francisco is, of course, known for Chinatown like New York City. While I was checking out, believe it or not, the Lord had a man come up with a San Francisco 49ers jacket right at the cash register when I was there, okay? God showed me cabling, black and orange, okay? That speaks to the wave, the tsunami, okay? Remember this. Warning, orange and black, and then after that, red and black, death and destruction, okay? Now, the orange and black waves or wires speak to cables, which is what holds up the suspension bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, okay? God showed me it's the anniversary, the 10th anniversary. He'll use anything, the 10th anniversary of Steve Bartman. And please don't harass this poor man. It was just a baseball game. But it's his last name that begins. That is significant. Steve Bartman is Jewish. Bartman means the bearded one. This speaks to God's people, okay? It's the 10th anniversary of Steve Bartman and the Cubs, okay? 10 is judgment. God is using a spirit of burning and judgment to bring order back to America, okay? And then, of course, he kept showing me the word towers again. I'll mention this, and then I'm going to do another segment. I was leaving early in the morning. He had a Jeep, an orange and a black Jeep, turn right into me. Okay? I think I'm going to leave it there and reiterate that in the next segment. This has been Daniel Holleran with Amet Ministries. This has been an update upon the San Francisco earthquake and tsunami, the dealings with Israel and Iran, and the New Madrid fault line.